Have you ever looked at your dog and felt they knew a secret? A deep truth about you or the world that they were trying to communicate without words? If you felt that flash of understanding, I need you to know it wasn't your imagination. You're actually witnessing the activation of a stunning prophecy, one laid out nearly a century ago by a man who could see the future while he slept. His name was Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet. Between 1910 and 1944, he entered deep trances and delivered over 14,000 recorded predictions. With terrifying precision, he foresaw the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and even the existence of the internet, calling them talking machines that connect all humans. But one of his prophecies was largely ignored, filed away as too strange, until right now. A prophecy about dogs, which is currently being unlocked in your living room, on your street, all across the planet. In his visions, Cayce saw more than just human history. He witnessed the spiritual evolution of the animal kingdom. And he was absolutely clear that among all creatures, dogs hold a uniquely sacred role. When the Earth's vibration shifts, Cayce stated in a 1943 reading, these 4-legged companions will awaken. They will become living conduits between the material and the spirit worlds. Spiritual guides in a fur coat, sent to remind humanity of unconditional love. Cayce described dogs as biological spiritual antennas, beings wired to sense energy, foresee events, and heal with their presence alone. He foresaw that these creatures held abilities that humans had forgotten, abilities that would be switched back on at a very specific time. The most staggering part is Cayce's timing for this canine awakening. He predicted the first shifts would become undeniable when humanity was grappling with unprecedented global crises. Pandemics, drastic climate events, rapid technological disruption, and a collective search for deeper meaning. In one of his most vivid sessions, Cayce laid out 3 clear phases of this canine evolution. The first would be the capacity to sense illness and foretell critical events. The second would be the emergence of direct telepathic dialogue with their human partners. The third, and most profound, would establish dogs as powerful energy purifiers, capable of absorbing and transmuting negativity to aid in emotional healing. When the talking machines are in every home, Cayce said in 1944, referring to our modern internet age, dogs will activate their true spiritual function. They cease to be mere pets and become willing partners in the elevation of human consciousness. But what elevates this prophecy is Cayce's claim that many dogs born during this pivotal era are, in fact, highly evolved souls who have chosen to incarnate in animal form specifically to assist humanity through its greatest transformation. Enlightened beings masquerading as the family dog. But this is the critical realization. Cayce was not speaking of some far-off millennium. He was describing our current reality. The markers he outlined 80 years ago are now manifesting everywhere. Dogs are identifying cancers that elude medical scans. They provide comfort with an uncanny sense of timing, even from miles away. They seem to energetically cleanse a room after an argument. Stories of almost telepathic understanding between people and their dogs are becoming common. This is not a series of happy accidents. It's the tangible evidence of a prophecy unfolding. So the real question is, are you prepared to accept that the companion sleeping at your feet might be infinitely more than you've ever imagined? Because once you understand what Cayce truly saw for the future of dogs, your view of your 4-legged friend will be forever changed. The canine awakening is not coming, it's here. And if you learn to look, you'll see it's already happening in your own home. In 1944, in one of his final, most potent trance states, Edgar Cayce delivered a vision that hushed the entire room. His voice, altered by the deep trance, began painting a picture of a future where dogs assume a revolutionary role. I see the 4-legged guardians activating, Cayce declared, with a gravitas that was chilling. As Earth finds its new resonant frequency, dogs will act as conscious bridges between worlds. No longer just animals, but disguised teachers, here to demonstrate pure love and spiritual solidarity. The specific vision Cayce received that day detailed 3 distinct waves of this canine awakening. The first wave would surge as humanity collectively began seeking spiritual truth, a period he pinpointed for the late 20th and early 21st centuries. In this stage, dogs would begin to manifest powers of energetic healing and an ability to diagnose diseases long before modern science could. The second wave would be even more profound. Case saw dogs beginning to engage in direct telepathic exchange with their people, acting on thoughts before they were ever spoken. They would materialize at their human side at the precise moment of emotional need, as if directed by some higher, intuitive GPS. The third and final wave would reveal dogs as true energetic sanitation workers. They would possess the ability to absorb and neutralize negative energies in homes, clinics, and even within people suffering from deep trauma. Case termed this gift emotional alchemy, the power to transform grief into healing by simply being present. What made this prophecy so radical was the era in which it was given. In 1944, amid a world at war, dogs were viewed almost exclusively as workers or guards. The notion that they held a spiritual or therapeutic destiny was scientifically preposterous. The prophet was also remarkably specific about which dogs would lead this charge. He saw that all dogs, purebred and mixed, would show these new skills, but that animals rescued from shelters would have an especially potent connection to this higher calling. It was as if the act of being saved unlocked their cosmic mission. During that same reading, Case shared a detail that was utterly mind-bending. He stated that a great number of dogs arriving in this period of awakening were actually advanced souls who had elected to incarnate as animals to help guide the shift in human consciousness. They were, he said, beings of light wearing a dog's disguise. The prophecy came with a stark warning. Casey foresaw that not everyone would be capable of seeing this change. Most would dismiss these incredible abilities as coincidence or instinct, but those who were on their own path of spiritual growth would form partnerships of extraordinary power with their canon companions. The most compelling proof of Casey's vision was his precision on the timeline. He forecast that the first clear signals would emerge as humanity confronted massive, world-altering challenges: pandemics, climate chaos, and a dizzying pace of technological change. Exactly the world we inhabit today. If you share your life with a dog, you've likely sensed a shift in their behavior over the last few years. Perhaps they've become your constant shadow, grown agitated moments before you walk in the door, or become acutely sensitive to certain people or places. These are not random quirks. They are the first tremors of Casey's prophecy materializing before your very eyes. Since the early 2000s, veterinarians globally started reporting a fascinating trend. Dogs with previously unremarkable temperaments began displaying intuitive leaps that defied any conventional explanation. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez, a specialist in animal behavior, tracked over 300 cases of dogs exhibiting what he termed emotional radar, an ability to sense shifts in their owner's psychological state before any physical symptom appeared. One of his most compelling cases involved Elizabeth Santos, 45, from New Jersey. Her golden retriever, Bobby, a placid 6-year-old, started physically blocking her path to the door on certain mornings. He would plant himself, whine, and refuse to budge. Elizabeth first saw it as misbehavior, until she noticed it only happened on days she was experiencing immense, hidden stress about her job. It was like he knew I needed a mental health day before I did. Elizabeth recalls. The days he stopped me from leaving, something significant always happened that forced me to re-evaluate my path. I realized Bobby wasn't being disobedient. He was my protector. But the evidence now extends far beyond emotional intuition. Scientists at Duke University in the US began validating cases of dogs identifying diseases with stunning precision. Not just the well-documented cancer detection, but conditions like oncoming epileptic seizures, diabetic crashes, and even the chemical changes of severe depression. The story of Luna, a 4-year-old Labrador, went viral after she spent 3 weeks obsessively licking a specific spot on her owner Zhao's left arm. Zhao dismissed it until Luna began barking and pawing at the area. A concerned visit to his doctor revealed a small, aggressive tumor that routine exams had missed. It was in the exact spot Luna had pinpointed. Animal rescue shelters also saw a profound shift. Dogs previously deemed unadoptable started forming instantaneous bonds with particular visitors. It was as if the dogs could read the aura of the person who needed them most. Ana Claudia Ferrer, a shelter manager, notes, "It feels like the dogs are choosing their people now, not the other way around. They gravitate towards individuals experiencing hardship, a divorce, a loss and illness. It's like they have a built-in sensor for who is most in need of unconditional love." Another powerful indicator was the explosive growth in certified therapy dogs worldwide. Between 2010 and 2020, their numbers increased by over 400%. The astonishing part, however, was that many of these dogs started demonstrating these therapeutic gifts naturally, without any formal training. Hospitals documented visiting dogs who would bypass cheerful patients and walk directly to the bedside of those facing a critical recovery, whose spirits were lowest. Nurses began to use this canine intuition as an informal diagnostic tool for identifying patients needing extra emotional support. Animal behavior centers documented dogs reacting to natural disasters with greater and greater foresight. While they once showed agitation hours before an earthquake, some dogs now give warnings up to 48 hours in advance. What's truly captivating about these initial signs is that they are universal. Breed, age, and background are irrelevant. These latent abilities are bubbling up in all kinds of dogs, from poodles in high rises to mutts on farms. It's as if they are all tuning into the same broadcast, awakening to a purpose that was sleeping within them. Most amazing of all, this was just the beginning. The signs that emerged in the 2000s were merely the first wave of the prophecy. What was to come would be even more astonishing. Imagine you arrive home from an awful day, feeling that heavy, gray cloud of stress over you, and the moment your dog greets you, it all just dissolves. That isn't just your imagination. It's a very real skill that dogs are rapidly mastering, the ability to act as energetic purifiers. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, a Cambridge biologist who studies unexplained animal abilities, spent a decade logging cases of dogs who can detect and neutralize what he calls negative energetic fields. His work suggests that dogs worldwide are developing a powerful sensitivity to cleans, environments and people. The most well-documented case involved the Thompson family in England. After they moved into a historic home, the entire family suffered from nightmares and a persistent feeling of dread. Max, their German shepherd, began performing a strange nightly patrol. He would walk through the house, stopping at certain spots, standing completely still for several minutes, as if focused on an unseen task. Max had this ritual, says Sarah Thompson. He'd take a deep breath in certain corners, whine softly, then shudder his whole body like he was shaking something off. After he did his rounds, our sleep was peaceful. The family hired an expert in geopathic stress, who confirmed there were pockets of residual negative energy in the home, in the exact locations of Max's nightly stops. Within a few weeks of the dog's ritual, both the expert and the family felt the house's energy had been completely reset. Hospitals and nursing homes are seeing this with therapy dogs. Nurses have reported that specific dogs can identify heavy rooms and will hesitate to enter until the space has been energetically attended to. When they do enter, the patients in those rooms show remarkable improvement in mood and vitality. Holistic practitioners are now partnering with these special dogs. During energy work like Reiki, some dogs are able to absorb the negative energy their clients release. They process it by yawning, stretching, or shaking, then return to the session, ready to continue. Esther, a therapist, works with her dog Isis. Isis lays at the client's feet. When we touch on a deep trauma, I can feel Isis start to gently tremble, processing the energy. Afterwards, she'll shake it off, drink some water, and be totally fine. Families who've endured traumatic events, arguments, grief, illness, report that their dogs spontaneously begin this energy cleansing behavior. They patrol the house, linger in spots where difficult events occurred, and lie down as if to soak up and transmute the painful emotional residue. Some dogs have even developed this purifying ability through their touch. Accounts of people feeling an immediate wave of calm after being touched by a certain dog have skyrocketed. It's not just a comforting pat. People say it's a conscious transfer of peace. The story of Armando, a rescue dog, perfectly illustrates this. Whenever a guest arrived at his home feeling agitated or sad, Armando would walk over and rest his paw on them for a few minutes. Without fail, every person reported a feeling of instant relief. Armando has an internal scanner for who needs a charge of good energy, says his owner, Ferdinand. He's always right. And after his treatment, people are visibly lighter, more at ease. The spiritual evolution of canines is not just about cleansing energy. Many are now developing the capacity to energetically shield their homes and families from external negativity. They can sense people with harmful intentions and seem to create a protective energetic barrier around their home. Social media is now a daily showcase of dogs performing the impossible. Dogs appearing from nowhere to pull children from the path of a car. Dogs waking families moments before a fire engulfs their home. Animals finding lost people against all odds. These are not random heroics. They are evidence of the third wave of cases prophecy, intensifying all around us. A case that captured global attention occurred in March 2023 in Brazil. Baya, an 8-month-old mixed-breed puppy, began barking frantically in the dead of night, scratching furiously at her owner's door. The family, annoyed, thought she just needed to go out, but Baya ran straight to the room of their 6-month-old baby and continued to bark. When the parents reached the crib, the baby was silent and turning blue, in full respiratory arrest. Doctors later confirmed that if it weren't for Baya's intervention, the child would not have survived. The incredible part, Baya had never displayed any protective traits before that night. It was as if her guardian mission was switched on in the exact moment of need. Tell me in the comments, has your dog ever done something that left you speechless? An act of protection that you simply can't explain? Dr. James Sapel, a director at the University of Pennsylvania's Center for the Interaction of Animals and Society, has collected these stories for 5 years. His research database includes over 200 cases of dogs saving human lives in ways that defy scientific explanation. What we're seeing extends beyond classic protective instinct, Dr. Sapel notes. These dogs display a form of precognition. They seem to know an event is coming before any physical cue exists. It's as though they are tapping into a different stream of information. The phenomenon is even more pronounced when dogs save total strangers. In October 2023, a German shepherd named Thor bolted from his yard and ran 3 blocks to a building site. He began barking aggressively at a crew of workers, preventing them from entering a specific section. 20 minutes later, the very spot where Thor had blocked them, a massive concrete slab collapsed. Thor had never run off before, his owner reported, and he had no way of knowing that structure was unsafe. It was like he was deployed on a mission. Before we continue, I want to invite you to the Quantum Thinking Challenge, a 21-day program where you reprogram your mind, raise your vibration, and unlock your full energetic potential. For 3 weeks, you'll have daily practices to transform your frequency and start attracting everything you desire. Access it in the first pinned comment. Now, imagine you're just starting to think about leaving work to go home, and your dog, miles away, is already at the front door waiting, or you're quietly feeling a wave of sadness, showing no outward signs, and your dog suddenly appears to lay his head in your lap. This is not fantasy. This is telepathic communication, and it's happening right now between you and your dog. Dr. Rupert Sheldrake conducted the largest ever study on animal telepathy. Over a decade, he recorded over 4,000 verifiable cases of dogs that could read their owner's thoughts and intentions at a distance. The findings were so conclusive they shattered our conventional understanding of communication. Sheldrake's most famous test subject was a terrier named JT, who unfailingly knew when his owner, Pam Smart, was returning home. The catch was that Pam had no set work schedule and used various methods of transport. Cameras placed in her home proved that JT would go to the window and wait at the exact moment Pam made that decision to head home. Not when she got in the car, not when she was nearby, but when the thought to return home formed in her mind. We ran trials on JT for 2 solid years, Sheldrake explained. It made no difference if Pam came by bus, car, or train, or if her timing was completely unpredictable. JT always knew the instant she formed the intention to come home. This telepathy isn't just about presence, it's about content. Dogs are showing they can respond to specific mental commands. Sarah Johnson, a dog trainer in Los Angeles, ran an experiment to test this. I had owners simply visualize a command while looking at their dogs. Sarah reports, the results were stunning. Dogs responded to unspoken thoughts like sit, come, and stay, with a 78% accuracy rate. The most mind-boggling aspect is that this connection is not bound by distance. Members of the US military have documented dogs who react to the life or death situations of their owners serving in combat thousands of miles away. Corporal James Mitchell, a veteran, said his dog Princess, who remained in the States, would have fits of howling and agitation on the very days he was engaged in heavy fighting overseas. My wife kept a log of Princess's bad days. When I got back, we compared it to my journal. The dates aligned perfectly. Neuroscientists at Duke University are exploring the mechanics of this phenomenon. Using simultaneous MRI scans, they found stunning patterns of brainwave synchronization between dogs and their humans. We saw their brainwaves lock into the same frequency, even when they were in separate, soundproof rooms, explains Dr. Michael Chen, the lead researcher. It suggests a shared field of consciousness, a form of communication that doesn't need a physical channel. Telepathy is also crossing into the dream state. Hundreds of owners now report vivid dreams in which their dog delivers a clear message or warning about a real-world issue. Have you ever stopped to ask why this global canine upgrade is happening right now? Why dogs everywhere are simultaneously activating abilities that were considered mythology just a generation ago? The answer is tied to a phenomenon far larger than the dogs themselves, a planetary shift in consciousness, which Edgar Cayce foresaw with stunning accuracy. Cayce's readings predicted that in the early 21st century, the Earth itself would enter a new phase of evolution, defined by a rapid rise in collective human consciousness. He called this the Great Awakening, a time when both humans and animals would unlock latent spiritual gifts to help navigate the intense changes of this planetary transition. When humanity confronts its greatest trial, Cayce stated in 1943, the 4-legged guardians will activate to guide and protect us through the passage to a new Earth. They will be the anchors of unconditional love in a time of great upheaval. Dr. David Hawkins, a psychiatrist who researched levels of consciousness, created a scale to measure humanity's collective energetic state. His work shows that since the year 2000, human consciousness has been accelerating at an unprecedented rate, making leaps that would normally require centuries. We are observing consciousness evolving in real time, Dr. Hawkins wrote. And animals, especially dogs, are responding to this rise in vibration by activating skills that allow for a deeper partnership with the human experience. The timing is impossible to overlook. The first massive wave of reports about special canine abilities began appearing after 2001, precisely when humanity endured one of its most profound collective traumas. It's as if that global shockwave sent a signal that it was time for the dogs to begin their spiritual mission. Scientists at the HeartMath Institute have found that major global events generate measurable electromagnetic fields that alter the entire planet's energy. These fields don't just affect humans, they trigger evolutionary responses in animals, especially those with strong emotional ties to us. Dogs are living bio-antennas for these planetary energy shifts, explains Dr. Rollin McCraty, HeartMath's research director. They are picking up on frequencies that our science is just now beginning to register. The 2020 pandemic served as another massive catalyst in this canine awakening. Vets worldwide saw an explosion in anomalous dog behaviors during lockdown. Pets who had previously been unremarkable suddenly began showing abilities of emotional diagnosis, energy work, and even precognition. The sheer emotional intensity of the pandemic seemed to flip a switch in the global dog population, says Dr. Sandra Molina, a behavioral specialist in Madrid. I saw more cases of psychic canine behavior in those 2 years than in the previous 2 decades of my career. But it's not just about trauma. Moments of collective joy, mass meditations, and global spiritual movements also create energy waves that dogs can ride. During solar eclipses, planetary alignments, and other major cosmic events, research centers see spikes in documented telepathic and healing behaviors in dogs. Quantum physicists theorize that dogs may be tapping into the morphogenetic field, a non-local network of information that connects all consciousness. As humanity elevates its own frequency through crisis and breakthrough, dogs are automatically tuning into this higher level broadcast. Dogs have always been sensitive to the subtle realms, explains Dr. Amit Goswami, a quantum physicist. But as human consciousness expands, they are now able to access and process quantum information, allowing them to serve as a bridge between dimensions. Our digital age plays a paradoxical role. The very technology connecting billions of human minds is creating a planetary electromagnetic soup that seems to amplify a dog's natural psychic gifts. They are literally sensing the informational waves of our global conversation. Spiritual centers report that their resident dogs exhibit behaviors that synchronize with global meditation events. During organized moments of intention like Earth Day or global peace vigils, these animals spontaneously fall into deep, meditative states. Our dogs are like living barometers for planetary consciousness, says Lama Tenzin of a Buddhist center. When humanity comes together with positive intent, the dogs respond instantly, radiating a peace that magnifies the collective field. Astrologers point to this period as the transitional age, described in many ancient traditions, a time when consciousness on Earth fundamentally restructures itself. Dogs, as beings who are naturally aligned with cosmic rhythms, are acting as our facilitators through this change. Dogs are the first to receive the new frequencies hitting the planet, explains astrologer Maria Helena Ramallo. They are modeling for us what the next stage of evolution looks like: more telepathic, more empathic, and more energetically intertwined. The climate crisis and environmental challenges have also sparked a collective preservation instinct in them. They seem to sense, on a soul level, that their own evolution is intrinsically linked to the survival and awakening of humanity. Evolutionary biologists are calling this accelerated symbiotic evolution, where two species rapidly co-evolve in response to extreme environmental pressure, developing traits that are mutually beneficial. Dogs are evolving to be our conscious partners for the planetary challenges ahead, suggests Dr. Lynn Margulis. They are developing precisely the skills we need most: intuition, healing, advanced warning, and the emotional resilience to navigate this critical chapter of human history. The canine awakening is not a random occurrence. It is a vital part of a grand cosmic design, preparing both species for a new era of existence on Earth. Dogs have chosen to be our guides, healers, and protectors through this passage. This explains why so many of us feel our dog chose us, that they have a mission, that they are far more than just a pet. It's because they are our active collaborators in one of the most profound transformations our planet has ever known. Edgar Case's prophecy was never just a forecast. It was a user's manual for a reality that is already here. As you listen to these words, millions of dogs across the globe are operating as spiritual guardians, energetic healers, and conscious bridges for humanity. The question is no longer if this is happening, but how you will participate in this new reality. If you share your home with a dog, you must begin to understand that they are likely far more than you've assumed. Recent studies suggest that 73% of pet dogs display at least one of these special abilities, which owners often dismiss as a quirk. Learning to see and encourage these gifts can revolutionize your relationship, opening channels of communication you never imagined. The first step is simple observation. Look for patterns beyond basic instinct. Does your dog consistently appear at your side moments before you feel a wave of sadness, even if you're hiding it? Do they become agitated right before an unexpected person drops by? Do they show an unusual interest in a part of your body that later reveals a health issue? These are not coincidences. They are the clear signatures of their spiritual faculties coming online. Dr. Patricia Goodman, an animal communication expert, suggests a simple protocol. Watch to see if your dog acts on your thoughts before you speak. Try mentally asking them to come to you from another room. Notice if they mirror your emotions, even when you're trying to suppress them. These are hallmarks of active telepathic bonding. To nurture these skills, create daily moments of pure, conscious connection. Sit quietly with your dog for just 10 or 15 minutes. No phone, no TV. Just make gentle eye contact and mentally project feelings of gratitude and love. Thousands of owners report this simple practice exponentially boosts their telepathic link. For those who don't have a dog, be ready to recognize when a special one enters your life. Dogs on a spiritual mission often find their families through incredible synchronicities. They might show up when you need them most, create an instant, soul-deep connection, or arrive through a series of events that can only be described as destiny. Entirely new fields are emerging to serve this new paradigm. We now have animal communicators, human-canine bond coaches, telepathic training guides, and therapists who work with human-dog pairs. Technology is also catching up, with apps designed to track energetic coherence between people and their pets, and platforms that connect owners of dogs with similar advanced abilities. Your dog might be one of those disguised masters that Case saw in his visions, and you might be one of the souls chosen to partner with them in this transformation, one that is redefining what it means to be human on a planet that is evolving right before our eyes.